5 days before the general election, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission will today be conducting a simulation of the results transmission system. The simulation was put off on Monday following the discovery of the body of IEBC's ICT manager, Chris Msando, who disappeared on Friday night. The simulation will be done at the National Tallying Centre at Bomas and at all county tallying centres. Despite the killing of its ICT manager, IEBC has maintained that its electronic system remains secure. Let me now bring in my colleague Patrick Amimo. Patrick, let's talk about this simulation. Just exactly how is it going to be happening?
Thank you, Betty. This particular matter was to be the mock transmission of our election results was to be held on Monday, but unfortunately it could not happen because of the death of Chris Msando, who was the deputy ICT manager at IEBC. In fact, he was the main guy who was supposed to be to set the IEBC on how this transmission would happen. And that following his death, we saw the commissioner postpone the transmission to today. The transmission will be held at the 47 county tallying centers across the country, where these results will have the mock results. What will happen is that people will, in all the 47 counties, those 47 county tallying centers will come and try the mock exercise, where now every person will be identified biometrically. That is the primary form of identification, because this time round we are dealing with the Kenya Electronic Integrated Management System, that is KIM system, which as IEBC will be using for this particular election. This is an improved version compared to the 2013 election, where we saw the system failure, and this time around IEBC has learned from the past election of 2013, and they say they put the systems right to ensure that this time round, even according to the Election Act 2016, the results are transmitted electronically, both from identifying the voter through the process of voting. These particular gadgets will be targeting those particular individuals. They will take every voter, as you get to the polling station, they will identify you and give that result of the voter turnout per polling station every 3 hours. The results will be relayed to the National Tallying Centre. We have 40,833 polling stations across the country, and 360 staff of IEBC will be manning this particular exercise. So it's something that the country is prepared for, and IEBC says that this time round they've ensured that they've brought together 3 companies that serve the internet, the internet service providers, that is Safaricom, Airtel and Telcom. These ones will ensure that in case of any internet failure, anywhere the signal is strong, they can pick either from Safaricom. In case Airtel is weak, then they can pick from Telcom. So those are the measures IEBC has put in place to ensure that results are transmitted electronically. Again, besides that, they've also used satellite dishes. They have employed, IEBC will have at least separate satellite dishes with its own signal in all the 290 constituencies and the 47 county tallying centers to ensure that in case of internet failure, the results, they can relay the results electronically through use of satellite. So that is what is happening today, Betty, and we expect that at the 47 county stations, tallying stations, from 3 p.m. this afternoon up to 6 p.m., IEBC will be able to take that exercise to ensure Kenyans that they are ready for the election that is only 5 days away.
All right, Patrick, from your reporting, sounds like IEBC really, it's all systems go. IEBC yesterday came out and said, despite the murder of Chris Msando, they're still confident that there's not going to be any external interference with the system. But NASA, on the other hand, yesterday came out and said that they want a foreign expert to come and basically oversee, this KIMS system. Do we have any reaction in regards to that from IEBC?
That particular matter, IEBC, with regard to the death of Chris Msando, now the opposition is very jittery, and they think that maybe part of the reason why he was abducted and murdered could have something to do with the KIM system. Maybe someone wanted to interfere or get access to the servers, where IEBC has put aside 2 servers, and the location is not known. So this is part of the security measures to ensure that there are no hackers in the system. Again, the IEBC has also employed at least IT experts from at least reputable companies. We have IBM, Oracle, who are trying to assist them to ensure that the system is free from hacking. But then we saw yesterday NASA come on board and at least plead to IEBC and suggest that they have at least to hire, either consider getting an IT expert from either the Commonwealth or the UN, seconded to the Commission, to ensure that the systems are not tampered with. But then the chairman says that despite the death of Chris Musando, he says the Commission is very, very sure that their systems will not be interfered with in any manner. But that's a matter that maybe we'll get to know from the Commission later this afternoon as they launch these simulation or the mock exercise, to know whether they will be willing to at least have to have a person either from the Commonwealth or UN seconded to IEBC to see how the KIMS or the IT infrastructure led by IEBC is operating in the run-up to the election. Because this one, according to IEBC, they say that electronic transmission of results is key, and it will ensure that this particular election is free, fair, and credible. Remember, the Court of Appeal did uphold a ruling that the polling stations are the primary area where the results are final. So every polling station officers have been told that those presiding officers at all the polling stations have been told that they must be accountable. And this time around, in fact, the law is in place, election law is in place, and they'll swear the code of conduct to ensure that they are true to the transmission of results and they don't play any monkey games around, and that any attempt to either stuff ballot papers or either inflate the figures or downgrade the figures of any opponent, especially on the presidential vote, because that is where now the contest is. They've warned the polling officers that the presiding officers at the polling station that this time round they will be individually accountable, and the fines are also very punitive. We have at least 1 million shilling fine and 6 years jail. So these particular measures that have been put in place are like 2013, where maybe officers we had cases of, or 2013 or 2007, where we saw some officers, especially like a county like a constituency like Juja, where the presiding officer or returning officer did disappear for 2 or 3 days and switched off his phone. This time round, such games will not be entertained by IEBC, and Chebukati has assured the country that any officer may be engaging himself in such malpractices will be liable individually and could be prosecuted. And also, there are staff on standby in case of any thought of someone trying to interfere with the election. Those officers or staff engaged in that particular matter will be dismissed on the spot. So those are the assurances that have come from Chairman Wafula Chebukati as we head towards the election, to just tell the country that the IEBC is equal to the task, and this time round, hopefully they'll deliver a free, fair, and credible election.
All right, Patrick, thank you for that. Before I let you go, let's move aside from the technology and the equipment really that will be used for this election, and really talk about the electorate. Of course, they're having questions whether IEBC has done a good job in really educating the electorate about really how to go through the whole voting process. We've seen advertisements in the newspapers, some advertisements on the television, but really, where are they at with civic education, even as, their systems seem to be on the right track?
The voter education exercise with regard to this election, I think, I would say has been a bit slow. IEBC did not pick up the exercise very early in time because maybe of the other intricacies that did face the commission. Because last year we saw there were calls to have the commission that was led by Isaac Hassan kicked out of office, which matured in November, and we had Chebukati team sworn in on January 20th this year. So the new commission came on board, and there were so many things in the intro for them to deal with. So the voter education exercise is something that has been on for the last at least 3 weeks or 1 month ago. So it's ongoing, but it's not very, very adequate. Remember, also last year we saw the president come out and attack those civil society and the international community which was funding the voter education exercise. And that time the government was saying that the West was trying to influence the election, this 2017 election. But we saw the West, at least 11 countries from the EU and America come and deny and say that they are basically funding the elections, the civil society groups and lobby groups to ensure that the Kenyans voters are empowered. Because our election, one thing is that it's ethnically based, and we are looking at the leaders that will be voted in should be those people that can uphold Chapter 6 of the Constitution that deals with leadership and integrity. But now, this time around, it's very, very key that voters, when they go out there, they be told why they must elect these leaders, and they call quality of leader they need to elect, not based on tribe or ethnicity or nepotism. But that education has not been put out adequately out there, but we think voters will do their act right, and maybe this time around we will not see many spoiled papers, unlike 2013, where at least we had about 200,000 cases of spoiled ballot papers. This time around, I think with voter education, they will be up to their exercise. Betty?
All right, thank you very much, Patrick Amimo there, reporting from our City Centre studio, just bringing us up to speed with quite a number of issues, one of which the simulation exercise that IEBC is undertaking today at the Bomas of Kenya, of really just how the results will be transmitted on the material day of the election. Thank you very much.